Hello. It's rather lovely that you can be here. I was hoping you'd turn up, and here you are. So let's get going. Um, Today I'm going to feature a song that got away. I'll explain all of that in a moment, and we'll just do a little bit of recapping on the extras on the kind of Joe Rogan story that we talked about last time round. So welcome along to episode 52 of Adventures in Pop. My name's Simon Jacobs. Do subscribe and follow and ring bells and all that kind of stuff, because I'm going to be here pretty regularly, and it's just better if I've got a little bit of an audience. Otherwise, I feel a bit of an idiot, to be honest. So that would be good. Thank you. I want to start just by picking up a few of the pieces that we kind of exposed last time round. We were talking about Joe Rogan and Spotify and the row that was kicked off by Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, and then a number of other artists following suit and explaining why they wanted their music removed from Spotify's streaming platform as a protest against Joe Rogan, who, as we said last time round, is the #1 podcaster in the world, by some distance it seems, who has been signed up to a multi-million dollar exclusive kind of contract with Spotify to make sure that all his podcasts are exclusively owned by Spotify. So that's been really interesting, as Spotify tried to diversify their way out of just being music, as if that wasn't enough. So it's an interesting situation. Where this seems to have ended up, at least for now, is this. Joe Rogan has apologized, actually, I think twice now. So one time he was apologizing for COVID misinformation, which I think was the thing that really riled most of these other artists. But then he also has apologized for, I think, some really lazy language that was, taken as a racial slur, and not really very forgivable. But he has apologized. I think he's acknowledged it, and has said, he's going to do better. He's also said he's going to try and introduce a wider variety of voices, so that when he's talking to people, he's got as an array of different kind of voices expressing opinions. Now, look, on the face of it, that seems like quite a good thing to do. It rather depends, doesn't it, on what those voices are saying, on who they are, and whether they all still represent a bit of a kind of a right-wing thing, or whether he truly is, taking voices from all parts of the political spectrum. I think we'll have to just wait and see on that one. But so Spotify haven't got rid of Joe Rogan, as nobody really seriously thought they would do, but they have apparently quietly they have gone around taking down over 100 of Joe Rogan's podcasts that they felt could be offensive, could be misconstrued, could inadvertently cause, misinformation, etc. So there's been a bit of a tidy up on Joe Rogan's kind of history, if you like. He himself has said he's going to do better. And he stays. So we'll wait and see how all of that kind of pans out. Oh, and I think Spotify are also making sure that if he talks about COVID, they'll put a little, some kind of link or sign down there that basically says, rather like Twitter has done, basically says, if you really want to get some facts about this, please go to this link. And again, that seems kind of a sensible thing to do, although it shouldn't really be necessary, should it? Anyway, look, let's leave Joe Rogan. I think we've dealt with him. We had quite enough time, thank you. Bye, Joe. All right. And we're going to talk instead about about me, if that's okay. It's an interesting one, this. I want to focus on a song and play the song to you in full at the end, as I've done several times before. But it's interesting because it strikes me that um, every time I release an album, which I did a couple of weeks ago, my fourth album, which is out there doing its thing, me and my big mouth, do go and check it out. It's not that bad. It's quite, it's good in places. Actually, I like it. I'm rather proud of it, and I would love it if you went to listen to it. Um, when I release an album, though, what happens is that there's a whole bunch of other songs that kind of might have been on that album but didn't quite make it, and they don't then line up for the next album. I don't just push them along and say, okay, well, you didn't make it on album 4, but you might be all right for album 5, because I'm kind of thinking, if you didn't make it for album 4, then for whatever reason I have decided, even if it seems sometimes a bit random, I've decided that that's not going to make it on an album. So why would it make it on album 5 if it wasn't on album 4? So that kind of thing, does play on my mind a bit. So basically, every time I release an album, what it means is there's a bunch of tracks that didn't get on that album that are not going to be released. And I guess as time goes by, that bunch of tracks just gets, bigger and bigger. So look, one day maybe I would release an album of odds and bits. I think other artists have done that. You know, maybe in one of their fallow periods, they've gone back and just picked out some other things from their non-released back catalogue. So anyway, this catalogue is growing. Rather than do that, I would rather just pick out one or two of the songs that didn't quite make it for whatever reason and just introduce them to you, let you have a listen. And that's what I'm doing today. There's a song that I wrote called Melancholy. And I mean, it really almost kind of made it on the album, but I was fixated, as I have been a few times, with as I've gone through this process of ensuring there were 12 tracks on the album. So, you know, that actually meant quite a few got passed by, and this is one of them. And look, I have said from the very beginning that my judgment about this is, well, obviously it's incredibly subjective. And the thing about this, about, who decides what tracks go on an album, which is always an interesting issue, well, the answer is me. There isn't a focus group, there isn't a panel, and there's not a record company that says, that's your strongest track, and that's, it's got to be that one. That's got to be a single. I like having the freedom of not having to be, of not having somebody trying to persuade me that X song is better than other. I would find that pretty tricky, I think. I mean, obviously, I'd get over it if if I was in some huge contract. But look, there are up and down sides. There are good points and bad points about being completely independent. One of the things I like is that I've got complete freedom to make those choices myself. The downside of it is I've got no idea if those choices are good choices. I hope they are, but I've joked about it before, but it's completely possible that I've overlooked, somewhere along the line, what other people might regard as my best song. Who knows? Who knows? I suspect not, but I really can't be certain. So let's talk about Melancholy then. Melancholy is a bit of a I am poking fun really at myself. I think most of all, I think I am the target of my fun. Where does this come from? Well, I've always thought that whatever style of song I'm singing, there's something about the sound of my voice which makes everything I sing sound slightly sad, slightly melancholy. I just think I I have a voice that does that, and I don't think I can change that. So even when I'm singing something that is, supposedly quite jolly, I'm trying to think if any good examples. It still comes out a bit mournful sometimes. I think I have a slightly sad and mournful voice. It might be, the tone is the inflection or something, and I can't really change that. I think that is my voice. I mean, it puts me in mind. I'm not trying to compare myself to, but think about somebody like Tracy Thorn. I mean, she's a fabulous singer. I really, really like her, and I've particularly the second half of Everything But the Girl's career when they kind of went electronic. I wasn't that thrilled with the first half of their career, but when they went electronic and Tracy Thorn was singing with her incredibly kind of beautiful human voice on top of this cold electronica, I thought it really worked brilliantly. But she always sounds mournful. She always sounds sad. And it's a very good example of, I really don't think, you'd have Tracy Thorn singing a World Cup anthem or something, that's trying to rally the troops, because she just sounds sad all the time. And I love it. So I'm not being disrespectful. I think she's a really, really excellent singer. But she is kind of stuck with the voice that she's got, which in her case I don't think she needs to be too worried about. But for me, well, it's Melancholy. So I thought it might be fun to write a song that kind of plays on that and says, essentially, I do melancholy songs. My genre is melancholy. Everything I do is melancholy. And that's really where this song comes from. And so I will play this to you and let you enjoy it, or not, even, as the case may be. And let's imagine that this is kind of track 13 on an album of 12 tracks. Now, what can we tell you about the words? With the words, I just had a bit of fun with. When it's like when people say, if you're out in public and you're looking really miserable, you might have the misfortune of somebody actually saying to you, I know this happened to me, saying to you out loud, cheer up, it might never happen. So I address that in this song directly, specifically, and I'm kind of making a case for liking everything to be moody and a bit miserable, and I guess it's half true. I'm exaggerating just for the fun of it, but I think you'll see that when you take a listen to this. So look, here it is. This is part of a kind of an occasional series of the one that got away. There are quite a lot of ones that got away, and here is one of them. So as I say, it's called Melancholy. It's fully recorded, produced. It could have been on the album. It just wasn't. And I'm going to leave you with it with a nice lyrics video. Again, just no expense spared, because I want you to enjoy the full luxury of this song and be able to see what I'm going on about as the song progresses. So I hope you enjoy my miserableness. Now listen, next time round, I'm hoping to be interviewing a very special guest. Well, let me see. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that can happen. And I'll be introducing you to somebody who is going to be quite important in terms of some of the music that gets released over the next few months. So stand by for that. And in the meantime, I wish you a fabulous weekend and week ahead, wherever you are, and be good, take care. And here is me at my most melancholy with a song called Melancholy. Thank you. See you later. Don't tell me to smile, or don't treat me like a kid. Don't say cheer up, it may never happen, 'cause it already did. I'm not one of those people who can light up any room. No, I'm the opposite of that. I bring dark clouds, I bring gloom, 'cause I deal in melancholy. That's my stock in trade. If you want fun and sunshine, I will only throw you shade, because I deal in melancholy. That is who I am. If you want shooby-doos and derby-das, I guess I'm not your man. Don't tell me to be happier, 'cause I like to feel this way. You love to see the world in color, I prefer shades of grey. See, I'm not one of those people who can light up any room. It doesn't matter how hard I try. I bring dark clouds, I bring gloom, because I deal in melancholy. That is what I do. If you want misery and a mind to keep, I can break your heart in two, 'cause I deal in melancholy. That's my stock in trade. If you want fun and sunshine, I will only throw you shade, because I deal in melancholy. 'Cause that is what I am. If you want shooby-doos and derby-das,